Hey guys, I'm going to try to, I guess, follow up on, I think, with my last video, which was about FHE and BHE, fronthand English and backhand English for those of you who are acronym impaired. A couple things that I did mention, maybe I just need to clarify. One of the things is that I've said in the past, and if you watch me shoot, I use backhand English, even though in that video I kind of said, well, it's for beginners. It's mostly useful as a learning tool, and I want to get into that a little bit more. The reason I still do it is because I've been doing it for a long time, and I've kind of found that my inner pool player wants that. He wants me to go through those motions. If I get down on the shot line correctly, on the new shot line correctly right off the bat, it's like my inner pool player doesn't know what the hell to do. But if I get down on the straight in center ball shot line and then pivot using backhand English or front hand English, then he's like, okay, cool, now I know what to do. That's just me, probably. Probably be a lot better off just giving up on the whole pivoting thing and just relying on getting down on the proper shot line, because I do know how to do that. I've been playing long enough. One of the pitfalls about getting down on the shot and then doing your pivot, either pivoting off the bridge hand or pivoting off the grip hand, is imagine I'm like the perfect physical specimen of a pool player. Stop laughing. I understand this might be a hard thing to imagine, especially since I've got the Earl Strickland starter kit going here in my arm. But just imagine. And everything I do, I go in and I am 100% perfectly lined up to stroke this cue straight in that direction. If I'm then going to pivot, again, backhand English or fronthand English, I'm no longer shooting straight in that direction. So my entire body is set up to shoot in one direction, and then I'm pivoting, and now I've got to shoot in a different direction. And that can screw some people up. Probably does screw just about everybody up, some more than others, if they're doing that pivot down at the end. Those are the kind of reasons I was talking about. It's more useful as like a tool for beginners, learn what's going on and that type of thing. I'm sure there are people out there that, well, I know for a fact there are people out there that are using backhand English all the time, even though they're very good players. So just generalizing, I do that a lot. This shot right here, I'm just going to use this to talk about some of the other stuff. This 11's on the spot there, and right here is another. I have another dot in my flop, one diamond out from this diamond. This is a perfectly straight in shot. This does not apply for backhand English or fronthand English. I'm going to give myself a little cut. Now I have a little bit of a cut. I can send the cue ball different places depending on where I hit the cue ball. If I hit it center ball, it's going to follow this tangent line, probably scratch. Probably don't want to do that. Maybe I want to hit top left, send the cue ball over here and back down here. Maybe I got a ball on this rail and playing shape 4. I can shoot like bottom right, send the cue ball over here, missing the scratch, play shape for a ball here maybe. You all know this, you play 4. But what I want to talk about is backhand English and fronthand English. Either one of these pivoting systems, they are there, they're designed, discovered, whatever, to compensate for the squirt on the cue. Every cue squirts. I've said that a million times. Cues squirt different amounts. This one is about medium for me. I have some that squirt a lot less, some that squirt more. This is about medium. They just squirt. And the pivoting methods that I'm talking about are to compensate for that squirt. But one of the things I never hear anybody mention when they're talking about that is, say, I get down here And I'm going to use backhand English to put right English on this 11. And I'm going to do it like the, I'm not going to pivot on the way down. I'm going to wait till I get down and pivot. So I line up ghost ball. Do I have my ghost ball? I probably don't have my ghost ball anymore. I have a ghost ball. Use your imagination. And I'm center ball at that ghost ball. Then I come down and I pivot on my bridge to whatever English I want. The thing that never gets mentioned about these pivoting systems is that I'm putting English on the ball. I mean, clearly that's the kind of the whole point. But this compensation going this way, this compensation going this way, it's to compensate for the squirt. You're still putting English on the ball. So you still have to worry about that. If I get in a case like the one I just did, it's really hard for me to do this right. If I aim at this ghost ball, or at the center of this ghost ball, and then I counteract my squirt, I'm still going to hit the center of that ghost ball. But now all of a sudden I've got right English or left English or whatever I put on it. And then English is going to throw the 3 in one direction or the other. Maybe enough to miss, maybe not. That's the part that any of this pivoting stuff doesn't take into account. That's one of the things it doesn't take into account, is that. So I'm just going to shoot this and tell you what happens. I'm going to try to line it up straight at the center of that ghost ball. No spin, dead center. Now I'm going to pivot on my bridge hand to the right. I'm putting 3 o'clock spin on this ball. Okay, so that ball went into the left side of the pocket. It still went in, but it went into the left side of the pocket. If I wanted to not do that, I don't want to go on the left side of the pocket, I can't just use backhand English. I have to allow for the fact that now I've all of a sudden got right English on the shot. It's going to throw the ball more that way. If I have the exact same shot this time, I'm going to put left on. Try to set it up exactly the same way. Aiming at the center of this ghost ball. Now I'm going to pivot on my bridge to 9 o'clock. That ball over squirted pretty bad on me. Why did it over squirt on me pretty bad? I'll tell you in a second. Actually, it over squirted more than I thought it would. What would typically happen on a shot like that, though, is that 8 will go in to the right half of the pocket, the right side of the pocket. Not what you necessarily want to happen. You kind of have to allow for that. A way to allow for that. It took me a long time to try to get this memorized in my head as what's what, but if you're going to shoot outside English on a cut shot, then you want to undercompensate for squirt. If I want to shoot this 4 with outside English, would be right English in this case, and I undercompensate, I don't compensate for all the squirt, just a lot of the squirt, most of the squirt, then that could put the 4 ball back in the middle of the pocket. If I'm going to shoot inside English, then I want to overcompensate for the squirt. And I'm not talking about very much. Say that this is my proper bridge length. It's not, but let's say it is. And this would send me right to the center of that ghost ball. If I pivot on my bridge hand right here, wherever that is, a foot off the tip, wherever it is. I'm talking about, I want to undercompensate, back that pivot point up just a little bit, half an inch. I want to undercompensate or overcompensate, move that pivot point forward. Again, not very much at all. So much of this is just about feel and experience and all that. But if you're doing this to try to learn what's going on, you can set up this shot a billion times. Maybe not a billion, that might be overkill. And see, okay, what happened. Find your proper pivot point on your bridge. Okay, let's find that. Put English on it. I could take like a pencil or a piece of tape and mark that pivot point. Let's say that I did that. And now this time, instead of being right there in the exact same place, I'm going to be forward a little bit. Moving my bridge hand forward a little bit. And then do everything exactly the same way. I get way on the side of the pocket that time. And scratched. And now I got to walk all the way over here. Damn it. So, using one of these pivot methods can counteract your squirt. It doesn't do anything to counteract the spin you just put on the ball. So you have to make an allowance for that. And experienced players, they just do it. They don't. No, they're not doing this. Adjusting their pivot point in increments. They're just not. But as they're learning, absolutely, I think it can help. Another thing that the pivoting doesn't do anything about at all is contact-induced throw or cut-induced throw. I always call it contact-induced throw, and I think I'm wrong because there's contact on every shot, but there's not a cut on every shot. This shot right here, so right now this 14 is about a half ball hit in this pocket with no English. A half ball hit, what I've always read and what I believe, will give me the most cut-induced throw on the 14. But if I hit this perfectly at a half ball, the 14 is not going to go straight along the line you would think it would take. Cut-induced throw is going to push the 14 that way a little bit. And it did, but really just a little bit. I think I subconsciously adjusted on that particular shot. So a half ball hit is the most cut-induced throw you're going to get. As you get thinner, you're not going to get as much. But obviously, as you get perfectly straight in, you're not going to get any. Come over here, half ball hit this way is going to give me the most cut-induced throw, pushing the two towards this rail. It's probably not enough to miss, and it's hard for me to not even be doing subconscious or adjustments on stuff like that. That ball hit the left side of the pocket, but that might have just been a coincidence. So the pivoting methods don't do anything about cut-induced throw either. They don't. Experience and feel and all that, instinct, whatever you have, you're a pool player. I think I've talked before about the fact that, so I'm going to cut the 6 to my left with left English. And I'm going to allow for squirt. I'm going to pivot. I'm going to do backhand English and pivot. So I'm going to hit it basically perfect. The left spin I'm going to put on the cue ball is that spin is going to throw the 6 more towards this rail. Note to self, don't straighten your arm out that quickly. The cut is also going to throw the 6 toward that rail. So we've got two things. If I'm using inside English, I've got two things basically trying to widen the cut. If I want to use outside English on this shot, I've still got the cut induced throw trying to put the 6 here. But I've got the right spin or counterclockwise spin on the cue ball that's trying to put the 6 this way. So they're kind of working against each other a little bit. In my experience, I can cancel them out completely, but only if it's very close to straight in. This shot is very close to straight in. It's very slight cut to my left And if I put right English on it, then quite, but I can if they're very close to straight. Otherwise, you know, they work against each other. The effect of cut-induced throw is not nearly as dramatic with outside English, but in most cases, it's still there. I think the whole point I'm trying to get at here, and maybe I made it, maybe you guys are already polished through it, is that there's throw, there's squirt. Well, there's two kinds of throw. There's squirt. There's all these things, and there's no secret that says, well, gee, find your pivot point, and now all of a sudden you're a world-class pool player. Because it doesn't take the other things into account. There are methods out there that will take the spin-induced throw into account and try to allow for that. But they don't do anything about squirt. There are similar systems and methods for dealing with cut-induced throw. But they don't do anything about spin-induced throw or squirt. There's no like one secret. And I guess the next really fun thing is that here in southern Indiana, it rained this morning. It's a little bit humid. The balls are going to grab a little bit more. These balls are actually, they're due for a cleaning. So they're a little bit dirty. They're going to grab a little bit more. That cut-induced throw is going to throw it more. The spin-induced throw is going to throw it more. Because they're dirty, they're grabby. The cue ball and the cloth are also a little bit more grabby than normal as well. If I'm playing under humid conditions, like I'm probably going to New Orleans next month, everything's really humid. I'm not going to get as much throw, or I'm sorry, I'm not going to get as much squirt on those tables as I get down here. It's what I think is when I shoot this ball with English, there's two forces happening on this cue ball. If I'm going to shoot this with right English, try to make the three. There's two forces happening on this cue ball. One is going straight along the shot line, trying to send the cue ball that way. The other one is going 90 degrees from that shot line, trying to squirt the cue ball this way. And they meet somewhere in the middle. I think it's a Pythagorean theorem type of thing. They meet somewhere in the middle, depending on how much squirt you have on the cue, how much squirt you have that particular day, how wet the table is, how dirty the balls are, things like that. It's another thing that none of these systems of method take into account. Maybe, for example, here, if I want to undercompensate for squirt, I'd back my bridge hand up an inch. Oh, but I'm in New Orleans, so I got to go another inch. I'm someplace really dry, so I have to go forward 3 inches. No, people don't do that. You just play, and you just get a feel for what's going on. And I used to be really good at adjusting the different equipment and different tables when I was a league player and traveling to different bars all the time. But I could pick that stuff up really quickly. I could just set up a shot like this, shoot it with right English, and note what happens, including where that ball goes in the pocket, what the cue ball did. I can set up the exact same shot and shoot it with, say, top left in this case, over squirted like crazy. Over squirted like crazy. It's what has me try to talk. And note what that does. And I used to be able to pick it up right away. 2 or 3 shots, okay, I now know how this table's playing tonight. But if I came to that same place the next night, I might be playing differently. You know, it's just stuff that you just, with experience, you just get a little bit better at it. And eventually, you know, some people will kind of get it mastered. I don't know how. I'm not one of those people. But it does happen, and it is possible. I think I'm done with this video. I really hope the audio is coming through okay. I haven't moved it yet into the table. So it should be more clear. we shall see, I guess. And that's all that I have to say for this follow-up. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Thanks, guys.